Adolf Hitler, one of the most infamous figures in world history, was the leader of Nazi Germany and responsible for the horrors of World War II and the Holocaust. Here is a summary of his life and rise to power. Early life, 1889 to 1919. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, Austria, to Alois Hitler and Clara Pölzl. He had a troubled childhood with a strict father and a doting mother. As a young man, Hitler aspired to be an artist, but was rejected twice by the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. He lived in Vienna, struggling financially, and during this time he developed his anti-Semitic, nationalist, and anti-Marxist views. Hitler moved to Munich, Germany in 1913, and when World War I broke out in 1914, he enlisted in the Bavarian army. He served as a soldier, was wounded, and earned the Iron Cross for bravery, but remained a low-ranking corporal. The German defeat in 1918, which Hitler attributed to betrayal by Jews and Marxists, left him deeply embittered. Rise to power, 1919 to 1933. After the war, Hitler entered politics, joining the German Workers' Party, DAP, in Munich in 1919, which later became the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP, or Nazi Party. He quickly rose to leadership due to his powerful oratory skills, promoting an extreme form of nationalism, anti-Semitism, and anti-communism. He blamed Germany's defeat in World War I on internal enemies like Jews and communists, and he rejected the Treaty of Versailles, which imposed harsh penalties on Germany. In 1923, Hitler and his followers attempted a coup known as the Beer Hall Putsch in Munich. The coup failed, and Hitler was arrested and sentenced to prison, where he wrote his manifesto, Mein Kampf, My Struggle. In this book, Hitler laid out his worldview, including his ideas of racial purity, the need for Lebensraum, living space, for Germans, and his hatred for Jews. After being released from prison in 1924, Hitler focused on rebuilding the Nazi Party. During the economic turmoil of the late 1920s, exacerbated by the Great Depression, Hitler's ideas gained traction. By 1933, the Nazi Party had become the largest political force in Germany, and President Paul von Hindenburg reluctantly appointed Hitler as Chancellor on January 30th, 1933. Establishment of dictatorship, 1933 to 1939. Once in power, Hitler quickly dismantled democratic institutions and established a totalitarian regime. After the Reichstag fire in February 1933, he used emergency decrees to crush political opposition, especially communists and socialists. The Enabling Act, passed in March 1933, gave Hitler dictatorial powers. Hitler used propaganda, terror, and charismatic leadership to consolidate his rule. The Nazi regime established concentration camps for political opponents, and in 1934, Hitler purged rivals within his own party in the Night of the Long Knives. After President Hindenburg's death in 1934, Hitler combined the roles of Chancellor and President, declaring himself Führer, leader, of Germany. Hitler's regime implemented racist laws, including the 1935 Nuremberg Laws, which stripped Jews of their citizenship and basic rights. His policies sought to create an Aryan racial state, excluding Jews, Slavs, and other groups he deemed inferior. World War II and the Holocaust, 1939 to 1945, Hitler's aggressive foreign policy aimed to reverse the Treaty of Versailles and expand German territory. In 1938, he annexed Austria and then the Sudetenland, part of Czechoslovakia. Britain and France, following a policy of appeasement, allowed these moves in hopes of avoiding war. On September 1st, 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, triggering World War II. Nazi Germany quickly conquered much of Europe, including France, and established a brutal occupation in many regions. Hitler's military successes in the early years of the war made him extremely popular in Germany. However, Hitler's decision to invade the Soviet Union in 1941 and his declaration of war on the United States later that year proved to be major miscalculations. By 1943, the tide of the war turned against Germany with major defeats, particularly at Stalingrad and in North Africa. Simultaneously, Hitler's regime carried out the Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews, as well as millions of other people, including Roma, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and others. The Nazis constructed extermination camps like Auschwitz to implement their final solution to the Jewish question. The genocide remains one of the darkest chapters in human history. Downfal and Death, 1945. By late 1944, Germany was on the verge of defeat, with Allied forces closing in from both the West and the East. In April 1945, as Soviet forces entered Berlin, Hitler retreated to his underground bunker. On April 30th, 1945, facing total defeat, Hitler committed suicide along with his longtime companion, Eva Braun, whom he had married just hours before. Germany surrendered unconditionally to the Allies on May 7, 1945, marking the end of World War II in Europe. Legacy Adolf Hitler's legacy is one of unparalleled destruction. His ideology of racial purity and expansionism led to the deaths of millions in the Holocaust and World War II. The war devastated Europe, leading to the division of Germany and the rise of the Cold War. Hitler's actions remain a symbol of totalitarianism, anti-Semitism, and genocide, serving as a stark reminder of the dangers of extremist ideologies and unchecked power. His regime not only altered the course of 20th century history, but also left deep scars that continue to influence global politics, international relations, and human rights discussions today.